Have you ever walked into a room and felt completely invisible while someone else seemed to light up the entire space just by existing? What makes that person so magnetic? What is it about them that draws everyone in? Here's what most people don't understand: it's not about looks. It's not about money. It's not even about what they say. It's about something deeper. Something you can learn. Something you can become. What if I told you that becoming the person everyone wants to be around isn't some genetic gift? What if the ability to build instant trust, create deep connections, and influence people naturally is actually a set of small, learnable habits that anyone can master? Before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt overlooked in social situations? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract friends, opportunities, and respect while you're working just as hard but getting ignored? Drop a comment and let me know, because what you're about to discover will change how you show up in every room you enter for the rest of your life. The truth is, in a world drowning in noise, becoming truly magnetic isn't about being louder. It's about being real. It's about mastering the psychology of human connection. It's about understanding what makes people feel safe, seen, and valued. And once you crack that code, everything changes. This is based on the principles from How to Become a People Magnet by Marc Reklau. And I'm going to break down the exact strategies that transform ordinary people into the ones everyone remembers, respects, and wants to be around. Let's start with the foundation. Because before you can attract amazing people into your life, you need to become someone worth attracting. And no, that doesn't mean becoming perfect. It means becoming authentic, confident, emotionally intelligent, and genuinely interested in others. Here's the first truth that most people resist: stop trying to impress and start being real. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying too hard. They put on a performance. They filter everything they say. They create this perfect image that nobody can relate to. But here's what actually draws people in: honesty, warmth, presence. Think about someone you feel naturally comfortable around. It's probably not the person with the perfect life or the rehearsed stories. It's the person who makes you feel seen. Who listens when you talk. Who doesn't judge your struggles because they're honest about their own. That's the energy you need to radiate. Not perfection. Realness. When you stop hiding behind a mask, others feel safe enough to drop theirs too. And that's where real connection happens. In that vulnerable, honest space where two humans just exist together without pretending. Your relationship with yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. If you're constantly criticizing yourself, if you minimize your worth, if you hide your voice, people will unconsciously mirror that energy back to you. They'll treat you the way you treat yourself. So the work starts internally. Build self-respect first. Speak to yourself with kindness, not cruelty. Set healthy boundaries without guilt. Invest in your own growth. Own your strengths without apology. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, not arrogance, but genuine self-assurance, people notice. You don't need to chase anyone when you know who you are and what you stand for. The right people find you. They're drawn to that centered, grounded energy like a magnet. Now let's talk about emotional attractiveness. Because looks fade. Status shifts. Money comes and goes. But emotional attractiveness? That's what makes people feel good in your presence. And that feeling is unforgettable. Emotionally attractive people share certain qualities. They listen more than they talk. They stay calm under pressure instead of reacting emotionally. They support others without trying to control them. They're optimistic but grounded. These aren't traits you're born with. They're skills you develop. For example, when someone criticizes you, most people immediately defend themselves or attack back. But emotional intelligence allows you to pause, breathe, and respond with curiosity instead of ego. That one shift changes everything. People feel your maturity. They remember it. They trust you more because you don't fly off the handle. Here's something simple but powerful: smile. A genuine smile is one of the strongest tools of a magnetic person. It immediately reduces tension, builds trust, makes you approachable, and actually lifts the mood of people around you through mirror neurons in their brain. But I'm not talking about a fake, forced smile. I'm talking about genuine warmth. When you smile with presence, not to perform but to express joy, you shift the energy of any room. That's powerful. That's magnetic. Your energy is your message. Before you say a word, people feel your vibe. Are you stressed? Resentful? Bitter? Complainers push people away. But if you bring curiosity, lightness, enthusiasm, even in small doses, you become a breath of fresh air. If this feels overwhelming, start small. Don't try to transform everything overnight. Build momentum with tiny, consistent changes. Start each day with one positive affirmation about yourself. Practice active listening with just one person today. Smile at a stranger. Compliment someone sincerely. Catch yourself before reacting negatively and pause instead. Each small action is a vote for the person you're becoming. And over time, those votes add up to a completely different identity. An identity that naturally attracts people. Now let's talk about communication. Because if your inner world is your foundation, communication is your bridge to others. And here's a truth most people ignore: most people listen to reply. But magnetic people listen to understand. That difference changes everything. The magic is in being fully present. You know that feeling when someone's sort of listening but you can see they're checked out? Their eyes are glazed over. They're waiting for their turn to talk. It doesn't feel good. Now imagine someone who looks at you with genuine curiosity. Who nods at the right moments? Who isn't rushing you? Who gives you space to express yourself fully? That presence feels like a gift. It's rare. And that's exactly why it's magnetic. So here's the practice. Put your phone away. Face the person directly. Make eye contact. Be here now. People won't always remember your exact words, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Be the one who makes them feel heard. There's an 80-20 rule for conversations. Listen 80% of the time. Talk only 20%. I know that sounds extreme, but watch what happens. When you do this, the other person opens up. They feel safe. They feel respected. Trust builds instantly. When you do speak, make it count. Ask thoughtful questions. Reflect on what they said. Show you actually care, not that you're just waiting for your turn. Questions like "How did that make you feel?" or "What was the most surprising part?" create depth. When you listen deeply, you stand out from everyone else who's just waiting to talk about themselves. And people remember you for it. Now let's address how you speak. Words can either connect or divide. Magnetic people speak with warmth, purpose, and clarity. Use people's names in conversation. It makes things more personal. Slow down when you speak. Rushing shows nervousness. Calmness shows confidence. Use uplifting language. Avoid complaining, gossiping, or putting others down. It might feel harmless in the moment, but it drains your energy and pushes people away. Be honest, but wrap your honesty in kindness. Great communicators don't just share information. They create connection, and here's something most people completely overlook: your body language speaks louder than your words. Over 70% of communication is nonverbal. Your tone, gestures, facial expressions, posture, they're all broadcasting messages before you even open your mouth. Open your body. Uncross your arms. Face people directly. Keep your hands visible. Lean in slightly when someone's talking. Smile genuinely, not mechanically. Nod occasionally to show engagement. These simple adjustments make you feel approachable and trustworthy. And your posture affects you too. Standing tall with relaxed shoulders doesn't just make others see you as more confident, it actually makes you feel more confident. It's a feedback loop. Learn the art of pausing. Silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. When you pause before replying, you show you're thinking, not just reacting. You give the other person space to breathe. You demonstrate maturity. Don't rush to fill every silence. Let it work for you. In that pause, trust is born. Let's talk about handling awkward moments. Because conversations don't always flow smoothly. There are pauses, misunderstandings, moments when someone says something weird. Magnetic people don't panic. They handle it with grace. Breathe and smile. Don't let tension take over. Redirect with curiosity, that's interesting, tell me more. Acknowledge without judgment, I see your point, let me think about that. This calmness makes you feel safe to others. And in today's anxious world, safety is incredibly attractive. Communication isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the clearest, kindest, most present voice in the conversation. When you listen with your heart and speak with purpose, you become unforgettable. Not because you impressed someone, but because you made them feel important. And that's rare. Now let's dive into confidence. That invisible quality you can't touch but instantly feel. True confidence isn't arrogance. It's not loudness. It's quiet strength. A calm energy that says, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it. Becoming magnetic doesn't start with impressing others. It starts with trusting yourself. We live in a world obsessed with external validation. Likes, comments, praise. But here's the truth, you don't become magnetic by chasing approval. You become magnetic by owning who you are. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do I actually like about myself? What values do I live by? What strengths do I bring? Most people never reflect on these questions. They only focus on what they lack. But magnetic people know their worth and own it quietly. They're not trying to be perfect. They're trying to be real. And that honesty is what draws people in. Let's address the inner critic. We all have that voice saying you're not good enough or you'll mess this up. Magnetic people don't silence that voice, they challenge it. They recognize it for what it is, fear disguised as protection. Next time that voice shows up, pause and say, thank you for your concern, but I choose confidence today. Because confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's a choice you make even when you're nervous, uncertain, or scared. Here's the key, confidence comes from action. You don't build it by reading about it. You build it by doing things that scare you. Little by little. Want to feel more confident speaking? Practice, even if your voice shakes. Want to feel more confident socially? Start small, make eye contact, say hello, ask a question. Every time you take action despite fear, you teach your brain, I can handle this. And that lesson compounds over time. Another powerful confidence builder, keep your promises to yourself. When you say I'll work out today and you actually do it, your confidence grows. When you commit to finishing something and follow through, you build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of lasting confidence. Confidence also comes from how you carry yourself. Stand tall. Shoulders back. Breathe deeply. Move with intention. These subtle shifts signal to the world, and to yourself, that you belong here. When you radiate that calm assurance, people feel it. They're drawn to it because most people are stuck in self-doubt. But here's the critical part, confidence with humility. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone. It's about knowing you don't need to compete. You walk into a room thinking, I'm happy to be here. I have nothing to prove. I'm just here to connect. That energy is pure gold. Confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. It's about taking off the mask and letting people see the real you, flaws and all. Because the most attractive people aren't the most perfect ones. They're the most authentic ones. Let me share something that separates ordinary interactions from extraordinary ones, generosity of spirit. We often think generosity means giving gifts or money. But when it comes to becoming magnetic, the most powerful gifts are invisible. Your time, your attention, your encouragement, your presence. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel better, not worse. Those who uplift, not compete. Those who give without keeping score. Here's a truth that might change how you see relationships, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. Ask yourself, what feeling do I leave people with? Is it warmth or pressure? Calm or tension? Are they smiling after spending time with you or drained? This is about learning to be the person who fills others up, not the kind who drains their energy. Start with intentional presence. When you talk to someone, actually be with them. Not halfway in your thoughts. Not multitasking. Whether it's a brief hello or a deep conversation, make it count. Look them in the eye. Let them feel they're the most important person in that moment. Become a source of encouragement. You never know what someone is carrying. A kind word from you might be the only positive thing they hear all day. Compliment their effort. Acknowledge their progress. Celebrate their wins, no matter how small. And be specific. You did great is nice. But I really admire how calmly you handled that difficult situation is deeper. It shows you actually noticed. People crave that kind of genuine acknowledgement. Share knowledge. If you learn something that could help someone, pass it on. If you read a book that inspired you, recommend it. If you know someone who could help them professionally, make the introduction. Magnetic people aren't gatekeepers. They're bridges. But what about emotional generosity? This might be the deepest form. It means being willing to listen when someone needs to talk. Not to judge or fix, but to simply hold space. It means offering forgiveness. Letting go of grudges. Choosing compassion over resentment. People can feel when you hold bitterness. It repels them. But when you choose to see the best in others, even when they're imperfect, you create safety. And safety is the foundation of all lasting connection. Now, let's talk about energy hygiene. Generosity is beautiful, but not when it drains you dry. You don't need to say yes to everyone. You don't have to fix everything. Sometimes the most generous act is being honest about your limits. Magnetic people give from a full cup, not from depletion. So take care of your own emotional and mental well-being. Rest. Recharge. Protect your peace. That way, what you give is powerful and sustainable. The universe responds to givers. When you focus on adding value to people and situations, opportunities begin finding you. Not because you're forcing them, but because your presence becomes naturally attractive. And giving doesn't mean being a pushover. Confident givers have strong boundaries. They give from love, not neediness. The more you give without expectation, the more deeply people trust you. As you move forward, ask yourself daily, how can I be of service today? Who can I support? How can I leave people better than I found them? It doesn't take much. A sincere compliment. A 3-minute check-in. A thoughtful gesture. When you lead with generosity, real, heartfelt giving, you stand out in a world focused on getting. That's how you stop chasing attention and start attracting genuine connection. Now let's address something uncomfortable but necessary, handling difficult people. Not everyone you meet will be kind. Some will test your patience. Others will drain your energy or challenge your values. But becoming magnetic isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about protecting your peace while staying true to yourself. Emotionally intelligent people understand this. How others behave is about them. How you respond is about you. You can't control other people's actions, but you can always choose your reaction. That's your power. And magnetic people guard that power carefully. Recognize the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is automatic, emotional. A response is conscious, deliberate, grounded in awareness. When someone criticizes you unfairly or speaks harshly, pause. Breathe. Instead of firing back or shrinking down, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What's really going on here? People often project their own stress, insecurities, or chaos onto others. When someone is rude, it's rarely about you. It's about what they're struggling with internally. That doesn't mean you accept poor treatment. But it does mean you don't take it personally. You maintain your center. There's something powerful about a person who stays calm when others lose control. It communicates self-mastery. It creates an atmosphere of grounded strength. Use boundaries, not walls, not aggression, but clear, healthy lines that protect your emotional space. If someone constantly gossips, drains your energy, or disrespects you, you have every right to distance yourself. You don't need to argue or defend. Just redirect your attention toward relationships that uplift you. Another tool is empathy. Ask yourself, what pain might this person be carrying? What unmet need is behind their behavior? Empathy isn't weakness. It's emotional intelligence. When you see past someone's behavior and understand the emotion underneath, you respond with clarity, not ego. For example, instead of saying you're always negative, try I've noticed you seem stressed lately. Is everything okay? This shift diffuses tension and creates connection even in challenging moments. But sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk away. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's responsible. If someone consistently brings chaos, manipulation, or toxicity, it's okay to create distance even if they don't understand. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Trying to win over everyone is exhausting and unnecessary. Focus on showing up as your best self. The right people will resonate with your energy. The rest aren't your responsibility. And one more thing, forgiveness. Holding on to resentment, grudges, or past wounds keeps you stuck. It affects how you show up. It dulls your light. Letting go doesn't mean you approve of bad behavior. It means you choose to free yourself from it. You forgive for your own peace, not for theirs. Every time you release bitterness and choose grace, you become more magnetic, more grounded, more powerful. Let's talk about something subtle but incredibly powerful, body language. You might say all the right things, but if your body tells a different story, people listen to it first. Over 90% of communication is nonverbal. Your posture, eye contact, tone, facial expressions, even your energy, these unspoken cues determine how others feel around you and whether they're drawn to you or disconnected from you. Your posture tells people who you believe you are. Stand tall, shoulders back, head high, not arrogantly, but confidently. You don't have to be loud to command presence. You just have to look like you belong. Eye contact is one of the most powerful nonverbal tools. Avoiding someone's gaze signals insecurity. Staring too intensely feels intimidating. But maintaining natural, comfortable eye contact, especially when listening, tells people, I see you. I'm with you. You matter. Your facial expression matters more than you think. A warm, relaxed face with a soft smile instantly makes you more approachable. It tells others you're open, interested, and safe. So instead of a blank or tense expression, practice softening your face, especially when listening. Open gestures, showing your palms, using your hands naturally when speaking, signal honesty and engagement. Crossed arms often signal defensiveness. Be aware of the messages you're sending, especially in first impressions. Your tone of voice carries more weight than your words. You might say, I'm happy for you, but if your tone is flat, the message falls flat. When you say it with warmth and genuine energy, it lands. It makes people feel good. That's what they remember. There's also your vibe, the energy you carry into a room. Someone enters a space and without saying anything, they shift the atmosphere. Maybe they're radiating calm, excitement, or tension. People feel your presence. You can't fake your vibe. If you're anxious, resentful, or trying too hard, others sense it. But when you're relaxed, grounded, and aligned with who you are, your energy becomes magnetic. Magnetic people don't try to dominate the space. They simply own their space. They're present, comfortable in their skin, and others feel safe around them. Now let's explore one of the most powerful skills you can develop, listening. Not just hearing, but truly listening to understand. People aren't drawn to great talkers. They're drawn to those who make them feel heard. There's a simple truth that can transform every relationship in your life. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. And one of the most powerful ways to make someone feel valued is to truly listen. Magnetic people aren't the best talkers. They're the best listeners. When you give someone your full attention, you give them a rare gift, the feeling of being seen. In a noisy world full of distractions, most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. But when someone actually listens, not to reply, but to understand, that's unforgettable. Start with presence. When someone speaks, be there. Not half scrolling your phone. Not rehearsing what you'll say next. Just listen fully, genuinely. Presence is magnetic. Then go deeper. Listen between the lines. What's their tone saying? What emotions are underneath? What's not being said? This is active listening. Nod. Respond with subtle gestures. Say things like "I see" or "that must have been tough" or "tell me more." Another key skill is mirroring, not mimicking, but reflecting the speaker's words back to help them feel understood. They say, "I've had a terrible day." You respond, "Sounds like it's been exhausting for you." This validates their emotions. But don't rush to solve or fix unless they ask. Most people aren't looking for solutions. They're looking for connection. Here's a trap to avoid: turning the conversation back to yourself too soon. Someone shares a challenge and you immediately say, "Oh yeah, something similar happened to me." It might seem like empathy, but often it steals the spotlight. Instead, hold space. Ask questions like, "What was that like for you?" or "How did that make you feel?" These are invitations for them to go deeper. And when someone feels invited to express their inner world, trust deepens. There's also power in silence. Don't rush to fill every pause. Sometimes quiet gives people room to go deeper. It tells them, "I'm not in a hurry. I'm here." When people sense this depth of listening, they open up. They feel safe. And they remember you. Not because you impressed them with words, but because you made them feel understood. Let's talk about genuine compliments. One of the simplest ways to draw people in is by making them feel good about themselves. But compliments only work when they're sincere. People spot fake praise instantly, and nothing turns them off faster. Magnetic people don't just compliment appearance or accomplishments. They notice the little things, the effort someone put in, the kindness they showed, the quiet strength they carry. These compliments feel real because they're specific, heartfelt, and thoughtful. Focus on the individual. Instead of "You look great today," try "I really admire the energy you bring into every room." This isn't about their appearance. It's about their impact, their presence. Be specific. Instead of "You're so smart," try "I was really impressed by how you handled that challenge. You thought through every angle and came up with such a clear solution." This shows you're paying attention. Don't just compliment achievements. Appreciate the process. Acknowledge effort, consistency, passion. Compliment character traits, kindness, patience, integrity, empathy. This helps people feel valued for who they are, not just what they do. And timing matters. Don't wait for big milestones. Compliment people in ordinary moments when they're just being themselves. These unexpected moments of recognition often mean the most. The key is genuine. If the compliment comes from your heart and reflects something you truly appreciate, it will resonate deeply. People remember that you didn't just see them, you understood them. Now let's explore storytelling. Everyone loves a good story. Whether in casual conversation, presentations, or social gatherings, storytelling has the power to captivate, engage, and deeply connect you with others. Storytelling is a superpower. People remember stories far longer than facts or advice. Why? Because stories tap into emotions, imaginations, and shared human experiences. Tell stories with purpose. A story should have a reason, a point, a lesson, a message that connects with your audience. The key isn't just to entertain. It's to create connection. Start with relatable experiences. The best stories make people think, "I've been there." Share moments of vulnerability or failure. Talk about how you overcame challenges or what you learned. These moments show authenticity, and people are drawn to those who are real and human. Make your story visual. Use descriptive language that helps listeners see the scene, feel the emotions, sense the environment. Instead of "I was nervous," try "I stood backstage, palms sweating, heart racing. The spotlight hit my face and all I could hear was the pounding of my heartbeat." Add emotion. A story without emotion falls flat. Tap into genuine feelings, joy, fear, surprise, sadness, and let those emotions show in your delivery. And use structure. A well-told story has a beginning, middle, and end. It has conflict and resolution. It builds tension, creates curiosity, and delivers a payoff. Stories create shared experiences. When you tell a story, you invite others to see the world through your eyes. And that shared moment creates deeper connection and understanding. Be genuinely interested in others. This might be the simplest yet most powerful way to become magnetic. When you show authentic interest in someone's life, thoughts, or passions, you naturally build trust, rapport, and connection. When you make others feel important, you create bonds that go beyond surface interactions. Start with active listening. Focus completely on what they're saying, not just the words but the emotions behind them. Ask questions that matter. Instead of generic small talk, try "What's been the highlight of your week?" or "What are you passionate about right now?" These questions give people opportunity to share what matters to them. Show empathy. When they share stories, acknowledge their feelings. Don't jump immediately to advice. Validate their experience with phrases like "I can imagine how tough that must have been," or "It sounds like you handled that with real strength." Remember names. People feel special when you remember their name. It shows you care enough to pay attention. Make it a habit to use their name during conversation. Express genuine appreciation. Ask about things they're proud of, things that drive them, moments that shape them. What part of your work do you find most rewarding, or what's one of the proudest moments in your life? Offer help. When you show you care about someone's challenges or goals, offer to support them in meaningful ways. It doesn't have to be grand, sometimes advice, a connection, or simply being there makes all the difference. To become truly magnetic, focus on offering value to others. When you take interest in people, you naturally provide value through your time, your attention, your genuine care. Now let's talk about positive energy. Your energy is one of the most powerful things you have when it comes to attracting others. People are incredibly attuned to energy, and they naturally gravitate toward those who radiate positivity. Positive energy is magnetic. It creates an aura of confidence, optimism, and warmth that others find irresistible. But energy is contagious. What you put out often comes back to you. When you maintain a positive, upbeat attitude, others respond in kind. Manage your energy. Recognize what drains you and what fuels you. Limit exposure to negativity. Avoid toxic environments and people who constantly bring you down. Surround yourself with people and experiences that recharge you. Practice gratitude. It's one of the simplest yet most effective ways to elevate your mood and mindset. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift attention away from problems and embrace a more positive outlook. And this optimism is contagious. Smile more. A smile is a universal signal of warmth, openness, and approachability. When you smile, your body releases endorphins that improve your mood and make others feel at ease around you. Practice positive self-talk. How you speak to yourself plays a huge role in how you feel and how others perceive you. When you tell yourself positive things, affirm your worth, celebrate your progress, that internal positivity radiates outward. Be present in the moment. Magnetic people are fully engaged with the people and situations around them. They aren't distracted. When you're present, you show others they're your priority. This makes you more approachable and likable. Use humor. Laughter is a powerful tool for creating positive energy. When you make others laugh, you create a joyful atmosphere people want to be part of. And humor doesn't just mean jokes, it's about having a lighthearted attitude toward life. Take care of yourself. The more physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy you are, the more positive energy you'll have to share. Exercise, sleep, healthy eating, and mindfulness are all crucial. Focus on solutions rather than problems. When challenges arise, magnetic people find solutions instead of dwelling on issues. They keep eyes on the future and approach problems with a can-do attitude. Celebrate others. When you make it a habit to celebrate other people's successes, express admiration, offer genuine praise, you create a positive energy exchange. And by being someone who cultivates positive energy, you naturally attract people who are similarly positive and uplifting. Finally, let's talk about authenticity. In a world where many people try to be something they're not, one of the most magnetic qualities you can possess is authenticity. Being authentic isn't just about being true to yourself. It's about being comfortable in your own skin and allowing others to see the real you. Authenticity is magnetic because it creates trust and connection. People naturally gravitate toward those who aren't putting on a facade. When you're authentic, you project genuine confidence. People sense when someone is real, and they're drawn to that energy. Authenticity creates space where others feel safe to be themselves too. When you stop pretending, you free yourself from the stress of maintaining a facade. You also give others permission to be honest and open with you. And when you're authentic, you attract the right people. People who like you for who you really are, not some constructed version. This creates stronger, more meaningful relationships. Authenticity builds trust. If you say something, you mean it. If you commit, you follow through. People appreciate consistency and sincerity. They can usually sense when someone is being disingenuous, and it causes distrust. Embrace your vulnerability. Many people hide their vulnerabilities, fearing judgment. But vulnerability can actually be a powerful tool for connection. When you share struggles, mistakes, and imperfections, you create space where others feel safe to do the same. Stop seeking approval. When you live seeking validation, you sacrifice your own desires and values. Focus on being true to your own beliefs and values instead of trying to please others. When you do this, you naturally attract people who respect you for who you are. Show your true colors. Stop hiding behind perfection. No one is perfect and no one expects you to be. People are drawn to genuine imperfection. When you show your strengths, quirks, passions, and flaws, you become more relatable and approachable. Learn to say no. When you're authentic, you don't feel the need to say yes to everything. Saying no is an expression of self-respect and self-care. It means you're honoring your boundaries and values. People will respect you more for your honesty. Stop people-pleasing. People-pleasing behaviors drain your energy and prevent you from being authentic. When you constantly put others' needs ahead of your own, you lose sight of who you truly are. Prioritize your own values and needs. And embrace imperfection. Authenticity doesn't mean perfection. The most magnetic people embrace their imperfections and share their journey. Nobody has everything figured out. When you accept your flaws, you free yourself from unrealistic expectations. By embracing authenticity, you build a foundation of trust, respect, and genuine connection. People will be drawn to you for who you truly are, not for who you're pretending to be. So here's your path forward. Becoming a people magnet isn't about changing your personality. It's about bringing out the best in who you already are. It's about showing people you see them, hear them, and value them. When you practice these principles, active listening, gratitude, authenticity, empathy, positive energy, something powerful happens. People begin to feel better around you. They open up. They trust you. You create stronger, deeper, more meaningful relationships. Go forward with confidence. Speak with warmth. Listen with your heart. Lead with presence. And remember, the more you give connection, the more you'll receive it. You already have everything you need to become magnetic. Now it's time to live it. If this resonated with you, if you're ready to become the person everyone wants to be around, let me know in the comments. Share one principle you're going to start practicing today. And if you want more content on communication, influence, and building genuine connections, subscribe and hit that bell. Because we're just getting started. Until next time, remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. And when you show up authentically, with warmth and genuine interest in others, you become unforgettable. That's how you become a people magnet.